Shiloh, the story behind the book. The way Marty found Shiloh along the river is exactly how I came across the shy, trembling female dog who gave me the idea for my trilogy. Except that the river is really Middle Island Creek, running through the small community of Shiloh, West Virginia. My husband and I were visiting friends, the Maddens, and the dog followed us back from a walk. It had begun to rain hard, so we retraced our steps, passing the old Shiloh schoolhouse and crossing the bridge. We turned into a long, curving lane, past the small house where Trudy Madsen's parents lived, and at last reached the front step of the Maddens' homes. We changed clothes and had breakfast, and when I looked out the window, the dog was still there, lying in the rain, watching the house. You don't know how often we see this, our friends tell us. People drive up from Sistersville all the time with a dog or cat they don't want anymore. They just let it out, thinking it can survive, but many of them don't. After we left for home that day, I worried about what would happen to the dog. We had 2 cats waiting for us back in Maryland, and really didn't consider taking her with us. But I couldn't get her out of my mind. So I began writing Shiloh, working out for myself what might have happened if she had come to me because she was being mistreated. As the plot unfolded in my head, I could see it all happening right here in West Virginia. I imagined the Prestons living in the little house where Trudy's parents lived. I saw the friends around the Madden's house as the place Marty and his sisters played. 3 weeks later, we received a letter from Trudy with the following news. As for the ongoing saga, after you left, I began to worry about the dog wandering around where it may not have belonged and decided to see if I could follow up on what happened to it. I took the car over to the opposite bank of the creek and followed that road all the way around to where it comes out at the other end. I was disappointed to find no trace of the dog, and every time I went to town for the next few days, I kept an eye out for any signs of a brown and white tail wagger. I'd just about forgotten about it when we went for a walk Monday a week ago. We were striding along a mile or so down the road when this joyous bundle flung itself at us and acted as though it knew we were out there just to find it. She, followed us the whole 5 miles, leaping happily all the way. When we got to our house, I did the one thing that would finalize the agreement. I fed her. She made herself at home in our garage, and she adores us. Under the circumstances, why wouldn't she? I hope you sleep more easily now, knowing that your excursion had a happy ending. Happy ending indeed. After Shiloh won the Newbery Medal, this little dog in West Virginia, named Clover by our friends, became a celebrity. The Maddens received phone calls from as far away as Denver promising to pay all expenses if they would put Clover on a plane and fly her out to their school or library so readers could see the real Shiloh. Our friends did not put her on a plane, but they did, on request, take her around to schools and libraries in West Virginia to be petted and admired. They even put her on a library table beside a stamp pad, and as students lined up to have their copies of the book autographed, Frank Madden would take one of her paws and press it on the stamp pad and potograph each book. Clover is now old and can no longer go on those 5-mile-long walks. The community of Shiloh has changed some since I wrote the trilogy. The old Shiloh schoolhouse has been torn down, but the rusty bridge over Middle Island Creek remains, and along with it, a mystery. Clover will follow her beloved master and mistress wherever her strength will allow her. From the day she became their dog, however, she no longer crossed the bridge. She will go just so far and stop, remembering perhaps what happened to her once a long time ago. She doesn't have to cross the bridge ever again. Our friends report that she is the happiest dog in West Virginia. Rex and I have been back many times to visit and agree that this is true.